In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Hello and greetings. This is Ahmadzai Ahmadzai, here with a new session for you, my friends. Today's lesson is a continuation of our File Explorer lessons that we worked on together yesterday. We covered the Quick Access toolbar. We worked on the File tab. We worked on the Home tab. Now we'll work on the Share and View tabs. And at the end, I'll also introduce you to the other tabs. So, these are the main tabs that we have here in their basic form. Let's start with the Share section. First, we have a few simple tasks. Explaining these tabs for you is also quite easy. For example, whether it's a picture, a file, anything, a photo, a video, basically something that can be called a file. Let's select a photo now. Say we want to share it with someone. It's just like when we select something on our phone. The share option gives us choices. How do we share it? Through WhatsApp, through email, or what? Or when I click on share, it asks me, for example, with which app do you want to share this photo? Skype, WhatsApp, or something else with someone, whether you want to share it online or on Instagram. If we want to email something, it directly attaches this file for us. For example, if I want to email this photo, it will attach it directly. Then it asks, what size should the photo be? At what resolution should it be attached? Okay, we select this resolution and attach it. Here, when we come to this part, we need to write the recipient's email address. You know that email addresses are always written in lowercase letters. When, for example, you email someone, emails usually have something after the name, like a dot, or it could be com, or it might have an underscore, or for example, a hyphen, something like that. For example, an underscore like Ali. Again, this symbol is called that. If we hold the Shift key, this symbol appears again. After that, it could be something like Yahoo or Gmail or Hotmail. Basically, some websites where that same email address is created. So, for example, this is an email address. CC stands for carbon copy. You might want to send this file to 2 people at the same time. Again, this email will reach the second person as well. In the subject section, for example, we can write a title to indicate what this email is actually about. What is the content of this email? For example, in this case, I might write something like my CV or my certificate or similar topics as the subject. In this lower section, we can write a complete message to the person we are emailing. It can be in Persian or English. The content doesn't matter. This is our attached file. We can attach many files, not just this one. For example, here we can go and click Attach File. For instance, here it shows several recent files. Attach Item, where we can say no. We want to attach some other things as well. For example, I tell it that on the desktop, in the same folder, I'll select another photo as well. Whether it's a photo or a file, okay, I selected 2 of them. One of them we attached, which will be sent later. Do collection, collection of lines, and others that we have. It might be photos of your certificates. For example, when you're sending your CV collection as a file, you might have scanned several certificates, attach them here, and then you go ahead and send them. If we want, there's a process for it. We can work with Silfa, talk about it. I want to send these 4 files, but I don't want, for example, to have to select all 4 of them individually. All 4 files are attached to the email right from here and will be sent. There's no need to attach them one by one, if we send from here. But if it happens, let's say no. These 4 files are sent as a single file, exactly the way we had learned. For example, we would go to New Item. For instance, we would create a folder. This is counted separately. We create the folder. We put some files inside it, just as much as needed. But since it's easier to work from here, from these folders, these files, we ourselves can't directly put their main copy there. So what do we do? Zip. A folder is created. Inside this folder, when we go there, 4 files have been copied. That means their original versions are not placed there. It gives us their copies, and you have a smaller size that we can email. Then, the person who opens it. How does this file open? It's called Compressed Folder Tool. You see, it appears after these. Once you're inside, you just select Extract. Then we go to Browse. For example, you choose an address where you want it, either a new folder or a specific place. Because you can't use these files directly, they need to be extracted. So, what does this person do with these files inside the folder? They extract them, taking them out, meaning they restore them to their original state, in terms of size and everything else. And the person you sent the file to, they also extracted the file for themselves. When you open this regular folder, you see 4 certificates with their original quantity, without any compressed size or anything else changed. There's something called fax, which isn't really used much in the world these days. Fax. You need to have fax machines. For example, if we want to fax a document to someone in America. Or it could be that the other person has a fax machine. We don't have any fax at all. We send it as an email from our side, but they're used to receiving it on their fax machine. Fax and email are a bit different. For example, we send an email to someone at their office. Well, the software sends it over. But with fax, it just goes directly as a hard copy. Basically, a fax machine prints out a page for you, and you seal the page. It's like sending someone a handwritten note. It's not smooth, and the page just goes over as a hard copy. These days, it's not used that much. So in the end, if we want to use it, we just click on fax. Now for that, you need to connect your own fax machine. We say, well, we don't have a fax machine to connect with. We just want to send it to that person so that only this page opens. Meaning, if we had one, we could send it from our own fax machine. Of course, it's hard, but let's say we send the data digitally and get a hard copy from that person. For example, this is a photo that we want to fax to them, or it could also be a written document. Again, it gets faxed twice. Okay, you write down the fax number. You include the country code, then the city code, depending on which country and city. Then you write the number of that fax machine. Finally, you press send for them. There's something called print. For example, if I want to print this photo or print several of them. For instance, we select them. I'm going to choose just one photo. For example, I want to print this photo. After that, I click on print. When you print, it asks you which printer you want to use. The printer that we've installed will show up here by name. We have to select that one. If it's not there, for example, I choose PDF. In older versions of Windows, we used to select this, Microsoft XPS Viewer. For now, we're not going to select this because if we do, it'll first tell us to go download it. Download the software, and then after that, I can open an image for you in a Zine. But if we don't have it, it's better to choose PDF. Because PDF files, if I have a PDF reader, they'll still open the PDF file. And even if we don't have one, it'll still open the PDF file. That's because Microsoft Edge and other internet browsers also support PDF files. So if you open a PDF file, it opens right away and you won't see any problem. That's not the point of opening it at all. The point is to print it. If there's a printer, well, we select the printer and print it. That's it. But sometimes, for example, people say, I'm going to prepare the print, because maybe the printer isn't there, or it's not connected, or there's no paper, or it's out of ink. So I get the print ready, and whenever the printer is set up, then from the desktop, with all the settings we've already done, I just hit print directly. Here, you select the printer again. You choose the paper size, a 4 or letter A, whatever it is. You click on it. For example, usually, depending on your paper, the type of paper you put in your printer, you select the photo quality, how much ink it should use, number of copies. For example, first you choose its layout, how you want it to print. We select this. They tell me, for example, I need 4 of these. Or, for example, I need 8 photos, 8 copies, meaning it will be spread over 2 sheets. That is, on one sheet, for photos for the student will appear. This is page 1 of 2. Page 2 of 2. It should be printed on 2 pages, meaning the content is on 2 sheets, just like photographers do. Then we cut this in half. I have 10 items. If there are 10 items, how many sheets will that be? 3 sheets. 4 on one sheet, 4 on another, and the remaining 2 will go on the last 2 sheets. I can also tell it not to print this part with a dot. We do the same for 12 items as well. If you keep it on fit to screen, you can see the spaces a bit, so it has some framing. We say it shouldn't have a frame, no left or template, and then we print it from there. Since there's no printer, it's just being saved. Actually, for my sake, I say, when it's done, save it to my desktop. So the file is from the label. We open this with them. Look, by double-clicking, you see Microsoft Edge open it. How many pages do I have? 3 pages. Let's print 3 A4 sheets, 12 per page, and this size is like a postcard. It still needs to be cut. Well, for now, it's on the desktop, it's there, for example. Let's say the printer stopped. Again, from here we come, everything is set up. They just say print again. Directly from here, it gets printed again, and we choose the paper size once more. If we haven't done it, they keep saying everything is set up. We just tell it to print. Well, after the print section, we have something called burn to disk. Burn to disk actually means birth. That is, if we want to write something onto a CD writer. Right now, this is disabled. Or, for example, your computer itself needs to have a CD writer. or you need to connect a CD writer. These days, external CD writers are sold separately. For example, you just plug it in like a flash drive, and then it becomes active. We insert a blank CD, an empty CD. We can tell it, for example, that I want to write this entire folder onto it. Again, CDs are either writable or rewritable. With writable CDs, once I burn it, it's saved on that CD for good. You can't delete it from the CD anymore. That data is permanent on the CD. Or with rewritable CDs, it's like a flash drive. I put the data onto that CD. A week later, I can come back and format it. Then I can burn other things onto that CD again. And with your CD-ROM, for example, with a CD writer, you put a blank CD into it. Then we just go and burn it onto the CD. Basically, you just click next a couple of times. So what happens to the CD? It gets burned, but it has to be a CD writer. Otherwise, it won't work. There's another thing called a shared folder. For example, you can have a folder called shared folder that does this in two ways. One way is between the different users on this computer that we have. For example, if we have 3 or 4 users, we can have a folder called shared folder. Any data I put in that shared folder, all the users I have on my computer can access it. They can also access those same files and folders. For example, through a user account, like the student account I have here. If they log in, some of my files might not be accessible to them, for instance. That's how it works. Or I might not be able to make some files accessible myself. So what else can we do? We can have a folder that's shared among all these users, and we can even share it between several computers. Again, for example, you can select either a folder or a photo, or the entire folder. We click on Share Folder. For now, we're just sharing it among these users. We say we can click for it. For example, I say among these users, if we select everyone, I can do it for all. And if I have a specific account for a student, we add that here. Then you just click Share for it. It tells you this is a folder. It shows you its address. You go into the user's folder, on this desktop, for example. Inside here, there's a shared folder among all users. It's putting the data in there. Anyone who logs in as a student, whichever account you see, can have access to it. Besides that, if we want, we can also just click Remove Access. This folder will then be removed from sharing. Meaning, without your account, other accounts or other computers won't be able to access it anymore. Another thing we have for you is the Advanced Security option, which here only shows us which account, for example, has the authority. Right now, it looks like this is our account. Without an administrator account, we have another agent, which is hidden. It is hidden. Another account, for example, ours the accounts we have. Which ones? Which permissions they have. For example, which permissions they should have. We can remove them or add them. Well, for now, this lesson isn't about that. Those are lessons related to advanced security, which we teach in our network course. For now, in Windows, this topic will be discussed separately. And I kindly ask you, dear friends, if you found the videos helpful, please like the videos and subscribe to the channel to support us and help the channel grow. Looking forward to seeing you in the next sessions. Goodbye.